Hello, and welcome to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's MLK Day virtual celebration for 2022. This is one of our Rock the Block community days made possible by the John P. Murphy Foundation. My name is Jason, and I'm the Vice President of Education and Visitor Engagement here at the Rock Hall. A big part of what my team and I do is teach about the rich and diverse history of rock and roll, including the foundational contributions of African Americans. They're integral, from rock's roots like blues and gospel to popular styles like soul and funk, all the way up the branches of rock and roll to hip hop and R&B. Today, we'll be celebrating the contributions of black rock musicians to this great art form by looking at some of the historical Rock Hall performances from our archives, artifacts in our collections, our 2021 star-studded induction ceremony, and we'll look at some of the video content from Rock Hall EDU. Rock Hall EDU is a free online resource where teachers, parents, and guardians can find playlists, activities, videos, and more to help their students learn through the power of rock and roll. Head on over to rockhall.com/education to create your free account today. While you're there, be sure to check out our MLK Day collection that features a video about music and social justice, activities to make your own protest sign or say what your dream is, and playlists on music in the civil rights movement and music and activism in the 21st century. Martin Luther King Jr. Day is an important day of service. We encourage all of you to keep working in your community and beyond as part of the fight for social justice and equality everywhere, and to take time out of your day today to support a meaningful cause, particularly ensuring that all people, regardless of race, have fair and equal access to voting. A powerful way to help is to contact your senator to urge their support for the Freedom to Vote Act and the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. First up, let's take a look at a performance by 2004 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee Prince. Prince was just an amazing artist who could do almost anything. He was known for doing rock music, R&B music, electronic music, film scores. He really could do almost anything he set his mind to, and it showed the complete diversity of an artist like Prince, that he could do so many different musical styles and have his fans follow along with him. We're going to take a look here at a fantastic performance of the song Let's Go Crazy from the Induction Ceremony back in 2004. In fact, this is a very famous induction ceremony. It's the one where Prince, later in the evening, got up and jammed on the song by George Harrison, While My Guitar Gently Weeps. That one's often voted one of the #1 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction performances. But this performance here by Prince with his band for Let's Go Crazy is just amazing. I have to tell you that if you're a Prince fan, listen carefully, because in the very opening of this, you'll notice the band plays some melodies from 2 songs that Prince wrote for another artist he worked with, Sheila E., the song A Love Bizarre and The Glamorous Life. See if you can catch those melodies here at the beginning and enjoy this incredible performance, including the great guitar work by none other than Prince.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called life. And if the elevator tries to bring you down, go crazy, run to higher floor. culture. Let's go! Rock and roll hall of fame. Are you ready to get crazy?
Up next, we're going to take a look at a great interview with none other than Jennifer Hudson. Many of you probably know her from her breakout on American Idol, but she's become such an incredible artist in her own right, really showing what a singer can do. She brings such a unique and powerful performance to everything she does. In fact, just recently, she was featured in the Respect film about Aretha Franklin. And later, we're going to actually see a clip of her doing the song Natural Woman, which was performed by Aretha Franklin and written by Carole King. At our 2021 induction ceremony, they performed that. So here, we're going to take a look at this fantastic interview of Jennifer Hudson talking about her involvement with the Aretha Franklin Respect film.
Respect is such an empowering anthem. Like, we all want respect. It's like the common denominator, that will connect and attach everyone. So no matter what you was going through, you could relate to the song, to the title, to the word, to the phrase. And I think that's the thing that engulfs, to this day, still, everyone. Well, music is so universal. Music is therapeutic. And then when you add that to Aretha Franklin, you gotta have no choice but to be taken in by it, and it being even more impactful. And then the genius of her is the fact that she could relate the music to the times, which made it even more relatable to the people of the times. You know, and that's the power in music. It's art that can bring people together. And that's what she's been able to do with her music, which is why it's timeless still to this day. And it was truth. It was speaking of realities. And that is why her music still resonates today.
Up next, let's take a look at another great archival performance from the 1993 induction ceremony, featuring Ruth Brown and guest performer Bonnie Raitt, performing Ruth's song, Mama, He Treats Your Daughter Mean. This was a really important song in the early days of rock and roll. It came out on Atlantic Records, which was a record label that was so important for Ruth Brown to be on it, they often referred to it as the house that Ruth built. The song itself was also pretty important because it talks about how men often mistreated women. And I think this is a really important message of empowerment and equality that Ruth Brown was able to get out there in the early days of rock and roll. I should also mention that Ruth Brown was a big champion for the rights of artists. In fact, she fought to form the Rhythm and Blues Foundation, where she made sure that many musical artists and recording artists who didn't get paid properly for their songs in the early days of rock and roll were eventually compensated for the royalties they were deserved for the songs they wrote and performed. So let's check it out now, this great performance by Ruth Brown, including a fantastic guitar solo by Bonnie Raitt. Here we go with Mama, He Treats Your Daughter Mean. Now I want to take a look here at another one of our Rock Hall EDU assets. This is a video we specifically made for our Rock Hall EDU platform as an educational tool. And we, of course, many times here at the Rock Hall have the opportunity to bring artists into the building. This was an example of Robert Randolph, the great gospel musician, so famous for his work on lap or pedal steel guitar, his songwriting, and his band performances. He was able to come here to the museum and talk to us about gospel music and why it's such a foundational piece of rock and roll, how it influenced him personally, and how it still continues to be a foundational aspect of rock and roll today. So let's take a listen here to this great asset that we created on Rock Hall EDU from an interview with our good friend Robert Randolph.
The cool thing about gospel music, right, is for some weird, strange reason, whether you're religious or not, gospel music has been around forever and will live on forever. No matter which style of music or new hip-hop artists or new R&B artists or new rock artists, somebody's always being influenced by gospel. I mentioned Kanye West with his biggest song was Jesus Walks. You got Jay-Z, who sampled the Clark Sisters song Higher and their record. You got Beyonce, who's sampled many gospel artists and a lot of her songs. You have Michael Jackson, right? You can go all the way back to the song that I Want to Know What Love Is, right? They went back and got the big gospel choir because, right, it makes you feel that way. So gospel music will always continue to be around because it's just that the pure simplicity of it helps your mind create all of these different sounds and how it helps bring people together, right? So gospel music always now, even more so now than ever, is being sampled, right? Because you got all of these great soulful recordings, all these great things. So some of you out there, don't be afraid to go back, listen to all your old gospel records, go dig, find cool stuff, because the creativity that's going to come from out there and will continue to happen and will make you an original person is go and get your old gospel records, do your research. So for me, you know, growing up and listening to music, having a big family, of course, my grandmother who's a big Mahalia Jackson fan, my parents are. So when we're talking about influential gospel artists that influenced me, Sister Mahalia Jackson is always up there. Her cool vibrato, I play a lot of that vibrato in some of my voicings when I'm sliding on my pedal steel guitar. You think about Sam Cooke with his soulfulness, which I still try to kind of emulate these days and copy a lot of the stuff that Sam Cooke does vocally, since my pedal steel guitar is such a big vocal style instrument. And from bleeding all of those, Sly and the Family Stone is always one of the people who influenced me so heavily because of the fact that all of their songs and the feeling that you get from the Sly and the Family Stone is that sort of gospel, church, religious experience with these great written words and these songs, right? When you think of I Am Everyday People, I Want to Take You Higher, Thank You for Letting Me Be Myself, these songs are very much gospel, right? And Sly and the Family Stone bringing that to mainstream music and writing some of the world's most iconic songs. So I always try to kind of, for me, you know, when I'm playing music and writing songs, the voicings of Mahalia Jackson, the vibrato of Sam Cooke, the pure joy and songwriting and electric energy of Sly and the Family Stone, those are my main influences. There you go. All of them are in this beautiful Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So they must be good, right?
Hi, I'm Sule Holder. I work with the curators here at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum. And today we're going to highlight a few artists and artifacts and how they tie into the civil rights movement and the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. Even though the civil rights movement occurred during the 1960s, a lot of its roots could be traced back to the black church and especially gospel music. It is almost impossible to talk about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. without his relation to gospel music and gospel artists, such as Mahalia Jackson, Aretha Franklin, and even Sam Cooke. Gospel songs and Negro spirituals also became the backbone of the civil rights movement. Many of the iconic songs performed during Dr. Martin Luther King's March on Washington actually had their basis in gospel music. Songs like We Shall Overcome became the soundtrack of the civil rights movement and the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King.
I do believe we shall overcome someday. We shall overcome. We shall overcome.
James Brown is known by many names. Soul Brother #1, Mr. Dynamite, and my favorite, the hardest working man in show business. James Brown, of course, is known for his iconic Black Power anthems, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud. But did you also know that James Brown is credited for saving Boston? The day after Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated, James Brown was scheduled to have a performance. Due to all the tension in the city, however, city leaders were very skeptical about whether James Brown should actually perform. However, city leaders decided it was better for James Brown to perform than have a whole bunch of angry youth in the cities of Boston. So, James Brown went on to perform the concert, and not only that, the city replayed the concert again on live TV for everybody to watch so that people, in a sense, stayed home. Through the crowd that attended and those who watched on TV, the power of James Brown music, in a sense, saved Boston. Janelle Monáe incorporates funk, soul, jazz, pop, R&B, and almost every genre of music you could think about to deliver her sound. Not only is Janelle Monáe an amazing artist and musician, she's also a social activist. Janelle Monáe continues the path of trailblazing civil rights movement. This could be seen in her song Say Her Name, where she highlights the life of Sandra Bland.
Sandra Bland! Say her name! Sandra Bland! Say her name! 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 Would you say her name? Yeah!
Jimi Hendrix. What more can you say about this iconic guitar god? Born in 1952 in Seattle, Washington, Jimi Hendrix has a sound that really personifies all the turbulent times of the 1960s and the civil rights movement. One thing that's crazy about Jimi Hendrix was that even though he was left-handed, he would restring his guitars so he could play them right-handed, which is in itself an amazing feat that only few could do. Jimi Hendrix is known for his iconic performance in Woodstock in 1969. On this stage in 1969, Jimi Hendrix went on to perform the national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner, in a way that has never been yet performed or heard since. This rendition shocked the masses and really proved it really was a pivotal point in counterculture, anti-war, and the civil rights movement. And I think one of the key things that people sort of failed to grasp or at the time was that this was a black man in America at the height of the civil rights movement performing the national anthem because he felt that he was an American and he had every right to perform it in his way as well.
I did was play it. I'm American, so I played it. I used to have to sing it in school. They made me sing it in school, so it's a flashback, you know. I don't know about it.
This man was in the 101st Airborne, so when you write your nasty letters in,
Nasty letters. Wow,
right.
you really
Well,
trying
people,
hard.
when you mention the national anthem and talk about playing it in any unorthodox way, you immediately get a guaranteed percentage of hate mail from people
listen,
who say, how
that's
dare
not unorthodox. That's not
anyone.
unorthodox.
It isn't unorthodox?
No. I thought it was beautiful. But then there you go.
This was the sort of attitude that Jimi Hendrix had, and it showed on his stage and his performance. His style, clothes, and his persona truly represented a shift in popular culture and the civil rights movement.
Hi there, my name is Mark Zach, and I would like to introduce you to the Queen of Rock and Roll, Tina Turner. She was first inducted in 1991 as a part of the duo Ike and Tina Turner, where she belted out soulful rock songs in a non-stop stage show, dancing the audience into a frenzy. Tina Turner is now being inducted for a second time as a solo superstar. Turner's early solo work positioned her as a soulful interpreter of country, rock, blues, and disco until she released her 1984 5-platinum album, Private Dancer. The 7 hit singles from that album kept Turner on the top of the charts around the globe from 1983 through 1985. Around the same time, MTV started hitting the airwaves and saw Turner's music videos played in heavy rotation. This allowed Turner to prove herself as a visual artist and entertainer, not just a skillful singer. Tina Turner set world records in concert attendance, and in 2009, celebrated 50 years in music. Despite retirement, her music and stage performances continue to resonate with countless artists, from Whitney Houston and Beyonce to Mariah Carey and Annie Lennox, setting the stage for every strong female performer who followed. Her music and life have empowered fans of multiple generations, giving them the courage and spirit to reclaim their own story in their own words. Let's take a look and listen to why Tina Turner is simply the best.
Now, we're going to take the beginning of this song and do it easy.
Tina Turner is the undisputed queen of rock and roll. The 2-time Hall of Fame inductee built her career on her powerful vocals and her ability to interpret a wide range of musical styles. But it was her iconic stage presence that made her truly unstoppable. Turner was known for bringing an electric energy to the stage. Over the years, many artists have tried to replicate her signature moves, but no one can thrill a crowd quite like Tina. Turner rose to fame in the 1960s as part of the duo Ike and Tina Turner, but it was her rebirth as a solo artist that propelled her into the category of rock and roll legend. Building on her prior success while unapologetically rebranding, Turner used her early solo career as an opportunity for musical exploration. Breaking out of any box she had been placed into, Turner stamped her unique soulful spin on everything from blues and country to rock and disco. Emerging from her experimental 70s soundscape, Turner struck gold with 1984's 5-time platinum album, Private Dancer. The album boasted 7 hit singles, including the #1 hit, What's Love Got to Do with It?, which went on to earn Turner 3 Grammys. As Private Dancer was taking over the charts, the music industry was in the middle of a visual revolution in the form of MTV. It was no longer just about the music. It was about the look, the brand, and the stories that the artists were telling through the art of film. Turner took full advantage, effortlessly relating to the younger generation. She had pop culture at her fingertips, but she didn't stop there. Turner kept the hits coming with pop-infused tracks like Typical Male and The Best, along with emotional works like I Don't Wanna Fight. Over the years, Turner collaborated with everyone from David Bowie to Mick Jagger, earning the respect and admiration of rock fans across the globe. Turner always held her own, never bowing to the star power of her collaborators. She changed the narrative about what it meant to be a black woman in rock and roll by refusing to be relegated to the background. Her talent, innovation, and determination positioned her beside and often above her male counterparts. In 1986, Turner released the autobiography, I, Tina, which was followed by the 1993 biopic What's Love Got to Do with It. Through these outlets, Turner's full story was finally told. Her rise, her triumphs, and the abuse that she had overcome. Turner's story endeared her to many. She became more than just an artist. She became a feminist icon, a symbol of strength, resilience, and hope for women around the world. Through it all, Turner was a musical pioneer who persevered. After breaking several attendance records and celebrating 50 years of performing, Turner retired in 2009, but her legacy lives on. Whitney Houston, Annie Lennox, Mariah Carey, and Beyoncé topped the long list of talented female performers who named Turner as an inspiration. Tina Turner changed music forever. Her powerful live performances and musical innovations blazed a trail for the artists of today. Her life and music will continue to inspire for many years to come. Tina Turner is simply the best.
All right, for our last clip today, we're going to take a look at some of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 2021 induction ceremony. It was so great, held right here in Cleveland, Ohio at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, just down the street from the museum. And I was there in the audience, and I have to say it was an incredible year, just getting to see the induction ceremony, all the great artists going in. And it was also a great year for a diverse number of musical sounds and styles. So many great artists coming out and performing. And what we're going to get to see here are some of the fantastic artists who performed in that show. Artists like Jennifer Hudson, performing the great Aretha Franklin song Natural Woman, honoring Carole King, one of the inductees. We're going to get to see her and Keith Urban performing for Tina Turner, one of our fantastic inductees this year. I was so happy she got inducted finally. We'll get to see a great Jay-Z lyric video. We're going to get to see Gary Clark Jr. performing the music of Charlie Patton, one of the earliest recorded blues performer. And then the moment that I've said to everybody was one of the best moments in the induction ceremony, LL Cool J performing. He just really showed the audience what an incredible performer he was and basically gave a perfect argument for why he should be inducted in the Rock Hall. All of these black artists performed as part of the induction ceremony, and it was a fantastic evening here in Cleveland. So let's check out this little supercut with some of those performances from this year.
On the morning rain, I used to feel uninspired. When I knew I had to face another day, Lord, it made me feel tired. Before the day I met you, life was so unkind, but you're the key to my peace of mind. Sing it with me, y'all. You made me feel. You made me feel. You made me feel like a natural.
What's better than one black billionaire?
Two.
They said I couldn't do it again, so I did it again.
Only rapper to rewrite history with no pen.
Jigga, man, we did it, man. History made. You got to feel him.
No more Big Willie. My game is grown. Prefer you call me William.
And if you can't respect that, then your whole perspective is whack. Maybe you'll love me when I fade to black.
You witnessing the blueprint of how to pitch with no mound.
So gather round, hustlers, because it's about to go down.
Congrats us, Carter, Ghost Rider. You paid the right price, so we just made your hits tighter.
I said the water was rising now, up at my friend's front door. That man said to his women folk, Lord, we better go. Well, I can hear, Lord, 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 water up on my door. Oh, I said, Lord, that water was sinking down. Lord, it was sinking way down. Well, I couldn't get no boats there. Marion City done gone down. Well, I said, so high the water was rising, men was sinking down. I said, the water was rising, that place is all around. Well, was 50 men and children on to sink and drown. Oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lord, women and grown men, whoa, they all came and drowned. I said, women and children, oh, they were sinking down. I said, couldn't see nobody's home, and there wasn't no one to be found.
Don't call it
Thanks so much for joining us today for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's MLK Day virtual celebration. I hope you enjoyed rocking out to these amazing performances and learning from Sule and the other education team members as much as I did. I'd like to again thank the John P. Murphy Foundation for making this and our other Rock the Block community days possible. So don't forget to create your free Rockhall EDU account at rockhall.com/education and to contact your senator in support of the Freedom to Vote Act and the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. By listening to rock history, we can hear the many important black voices that shaped this great art form and continue to innovate it today. We hope to see you at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame soon or at one of our many online programs as you continue your journey into the amazing, diverse sounds of rock and roll. Thank you.